Ashely Adler is not only a renowned voice talent who has voice matched over 20 different people and booked over 80 commercials, but she's also appeared in the extremely popular and well-known video game universe Final Fantasy, not once, but twice. She's also the narrator of Disney Dreamlight Valley. She's a professor at SUNY Purchase, teaching the first voice classes they've ever had, and also at Edge Studio, and has worked with Lori Allen's classes. She'll be on Solar Opposites next season. Stay tuned. She's also in Tom Kenny's band, the voice of SpongeBob. Okay, we're going to talk about it.
Used to be.
Used to be. This is Voiceover Secrets with Ashely Adler. Welcome.
Hello. Are you ready, Caley, for me to share my secrets?
Secrets, all the secrets. Thank you so much for talking to me and being a part of this.
Of course. It's so good to see you and hear you. And I've been watching all your success, and I'm literally so inspired by you. Truly. I always thought you were amazing.
Mutual. Truly.
I remember you because we met in Mick Wingert's class,
Shout out Mick Winger. I just interviewed him on Friday. Yep, that'll be airing soon. I just interviewed him on Friday, so that'll be airing soon. Yeah.
He's amazing. Yeah, I love him. And we met there, and I totally remembered you. I remembered these commercials you read in the class, and I was like, God, her voice is so good. I'm so jealous.
Yes, so sweet. See, and I've been jealous of you, and jealousy is a good thing. It leads us to what we want. I talk about this all the time.
Oh!
How long have you worked in voiceover, and how did you get started? Because now that I know, I didn't know it was over 80 commercials. Are you freaking kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so weird because I think a lot of actors have this mindset of like, I kind of forget what I've done. I'm just like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Yeah. It's like that mindset of like, I don't have a job today, so what's the next job? And then like, I'll look back sometimes and be like, oh my gosh, I've done some things.
Yeah.
But you kind of
That's why I like to read the intro at the beginning, because it reminds people of how incredible they are.
Yeah, I'm like, that's me. But anyway, so what was your question? How
did you first get started in voiceover, and how long have you been working in voiceover?
Okay. I'll answer this backwards. I've been working in voiceover for almost 12 years. Almost 12. And which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I got started because, honestly, I started out like many people just as a regular actor, with my body too. I went to school and I did a lot of musicals, and I did have a small career as an opera singer in New York.
Okay.
For versatility, aka I cannot make up my mind what I want to do.
No way.
But and then I was just like, I always was just going into funny voices all the time, and I was always imitating everybody. Like, I can't help it. It's just what I do. I hear something and I go, oh, I can do that, or I want to do that.
Not everybody has that ear, really. So that's such a talent.
Yes. And basically people were like, you should try voiceover, like, and I was like, yeah. Oh, I guess. And then I had a friend, the amazing Justine Huxley, who's Watson in Apex Legends. I don't know if she knows that she was like so important to my story, my journey, but she like just started doing voiceover, this one year. I was like, yeah, I went to this place, Voice Tracks West, which I love, Voice Tracks West. And I got my demo made, and I just got an agent, and I'm starting to audition. And I was like, whoa, if Justine can do it, I think I can do it. And so basically, I literally went to the demo producer, Susan Palio, at Voice Tracks West. I went in with my list of voices. Like, I wrote down every little voice and character, or like, accent that I did. I'd be like,
I have
so
like my smart. You're so prepared.
Style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, Justine, if you're watching this, Justine told me, you make demos. I mean, it was really that simple. And I was just like, these are all my voices. And I just like went down the list. I was like, bah, 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 bah. And then Susan was like, oh yeah, you're ready to make a demo. So basically I made my demo with Susan. And then this is what happened. I sent out emails to all the agencies. Like, they tell you to do like, hello, Paparady, or whoever I was emailing, and nobody got back to me. Not one single person. Actually, I think CESD got back to me to say, no, thank you.
Okay. Okay. At least they respond.
But I can't quite, I think that's what happened. But, somebody got back to me and said, no, thank you. And that was it. I heard nothing. And then Susan was kind enough to send my demo to a voice director Ginny McSwain, who I still have not met to this day in person.
Huh.
And I guess Ginny McSwain really liked my demo, and she sent it to casting at Disney Television, and they called me in for a general meeting. And so I had this meeting on the books I was really excited about, and then I ended up going to a New Year's party, and I ran into another voice. I was like, that person does voice acting, does voiceover. Carrie Tombazian, who has this amazing, rich voice, and she was the announcer for like The Wave, 94.7, and a million other things, promos, commercials, everything. And I was like, hey, Carrie, I was like, you do voiceover. I was like, I have a meeting with Disney. Like, this is all. And she was like, oh, you do? And I was like, yes. And she's like, who's your agent? And I was like, I don't have one. And she was like, I'll introduce you to mine. And that's how it happened. So I went to meet with my wonderful agency. Yes, Atlas. And the timing was divine, because it was like, I met with them. The meeting timed out that I met with them right after I had my Disney General. So then I guess the agent that was wondering about me emailed Disney, and they said, oh yeah, Ashely has a lot of potential or whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll work with you. And they have been my agent ever since. But again, nobody responded to any of my cold emails except for one no thank you. And sorry, CSD, if it was
I always feel like, no, I just always feel like my thing with cold emails is like, it's okay to cold email as long as you're willing to cold email 5 to 6 times, because it's all in the follow-up, and I've had to be that persistent person over my career. That's how I got, I think, my current agent. Yeah. So and also let's point out training, Ashely and I met in a class as we were already working. So it's not like we were like, we're already working, we don't need a class. Look, I'm sashaying this hair over my shoulder when this one should be on. But we were training, and that's how we worked. And networking, being a good person and being a talented person, when that preparation meets that opportunity. I love how you went in with a list of characters. So many people wouldn't even bring that, even though they know maybe they should. Bravo.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Nobody told me to do that. But now I tell people, I teach you that. Smart. I was like, go through your characters. If you're like, I have crazy Aunt Mary and I do her, or I can do a really good impression of like Emma Watson from Harry Potter. But, once it gets filtered through you, maybe it's not an exact impression. But either way, nobody told me to do that. But it was definitely helpful. I totally remember that day because I was like, am I ready? And Susan was like,
and the Disney General, I mean, that's incredible. Because I got a callback for them for Lion Guard, but I've never done a Disney General. So now I'm like, should I be reaching out for that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they happen. I've had generals at most every place. And it's just a way for them to get to know you. And then you usually, hopefully, you can make a good impression. You get some requested auditions.
Absolutely.
And,
and now you're doing Disney's Dreamlight Valley.
I'm the narrator. It's so crazy. So and that job, Caley, I didn't even audition for.
And they just booked you from your demo?
Somebody, it was so weird. I didn't know if it was a scam because someone emailed my website. I was like, hey, you were recommended to us by this person at Disney.
No way.
Yeah. And I was like, this can't be real. So I responded, yes, of course I'm interested. And they're like, we're making a new video game and we think your voice is perfect for it. And so, yeah. And I just, it honestly, after that first
word travels
reach out, I've done a lot of work for Disney. And honestly, after that first reach out, it was probably a year and a half until I did the first trailer. And, but yeah, I didn't audition for that, but I'd already done so much for work at Disney at that point. I figured it out. I think I've worked for every arm, leg, whatever of Disney. Like almost every single one.
And they've got a lot of legs and arms.
They have a lot.
Do you approach narration?
Has a wide reach.
Yeah. Do you approach narration differently from your commercial auditions, differently from promo? How does narration come into it?
I just, honestly, I don't overthink it. I just try to go, what is the energy of this? Who are they appealing to? What is the vibe? What do I want to make? What do they want the audience to feel? What is the quality of this brand or this feeling? Like with Disney, I know, especially Dreamlight Valley, there's this element of magic and happiness. And even when it's sad, at least in this game, it's never that sad because it's always generally going to have a happy ending. So and I'm a Disney girl through and through.
Yeah.
And, I even had a job performing in theme parks a million years ago.
What did you perform as a character?
No, I was singing in a klezmer band, which is like Jewish folk music.
Oh my goodness, that's so fun.
I know. And then the next year, I ended up being a voice on a ride inside of Disneyland, which is like so crazy. I was like, you can't get. I'm still here.
But see, music and singing is such a part of voice acting. Not that every voice actor is a singer. And, you know, I've even talked to people who are like, I can sing in character. Dina Sherman and I talked about this. I can sing in character, but I'm not a singer. And she's booked things from singing in character. But I think the use of your voice, is that where you think they intersect?
Absolutely. I think being a singer means you have a really, generally, hopefully, a good ear for pitch, and also all the different resonators in my face and my chest. You know, like I know where all the different sounds resonate. If I want something to sound more nasal or a little more chesty, or you know, I want to place it in the back, or in the front. You know, I mean, it's just. But because I specifically have sung so many different styles professionally. I'm like a freak of nature that way. But that definitely helps my voice acting and especially the voice matching. But yes, the narration, I mean, always remember we're storytellers, and what story, this is what I probably should have said. What story are we telling? I'm not going to narrate a trailer for a Stephen King thriller, which I've done in the same way that I narrate for Disney. They're just different, but what story are we telling? And I always try to look at, what are the words in this script that are the most important? What are the operative words that are the story? And I look at the flow of the sentences, and you have to think, what's
script analysis. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mick Winger.
And that's why she's a teacher. But really, I mean, it's script analysis. It's knowing other shows in the climate and doing your research if you don't already know, okay, what is Stephen King? Well, he's not light and happy,
Yeah. I mean, no, generally not. I'm like, is this it? Or is it? Yeah. So, and it just like, there's so many different styles of animation. There's adult animation, which, is going to be a little more real, a little more raw, and more, probably use more crafts, where you're going to, like Mick talked about this, like you're going to play when you're playing a villain in like a Disney Junior show or like a kid's show, they're not going to be that scary.
Yeah.
They're going to be like scary to hear, because it's still, who's the audience versus like a villain in like, a video game where there's like zombies and like, monsters and whatever, like that will be truly terrifying.
Totally. And ages 4 to 6 villain is different from 10 to 12 and all that. Yeah, totally. Right. That's so interesting. I mean, talking about using your voice in different ways as a singer, voice matching. So let's get into that, because that is fascinating to me. I have never had luck with that. I've had so many auditions for voice matching. I'm going to be totally honest. And I'm just like, how do you approach it? Is it, okay, this person resonates here and I'm going to put it here? Is it from the perspective of the person first?
Well, first what I do is I listen to it like over and over and over. And I just try to focus on, okay, how loud are they? What's the emotion? Because I think one of the traps of it is, even if you sound like the person, if you're focused on the voice and not like, who are they talking to? What is the emotion they're having in this scene? You can kind of get lost. And also every person that because voice matching is like spinning like 5 plates at once, because you're trying to honor their performance, when this one actor gets mad, they get louder. When this actor gets mad, they get quieter and more interesting. Or maybe someone gets really, there's some people that their ranges are great. There's some person I voice match, when they get mad, their voice got really high and like, up here, but then they would speak down here sometimes, and you just have to pay attention. Like everybody's voice is
so interesting.
Even twins have different voices. Everybody's voice is unique. So also, I mean, I'm lucky I have a great ear. I can't match everybody, but I've matched like 25 people. It's just unbelievable. Always mimicked everyone. So it's something that came naturally to me. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
One of the first voice matches I ever booked was Mindy Kaling, and like that one.
Yeah, she's a good one.
I had already been practicing her for like the longest time because I was watching The Office a lot. During that time in my life. So I was always like, oh my God, like I would literally mimic back what I heard her do.
So good.
I was just like, fascinated by it,
Yeah.
So I think I didn't think it was able to be taught, but I believe I've figured out a way to teach it. but it's just about like listening more intently, just really listening, and what is their rhythm and what
so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody can voice match somebody.
Taking this class, is it an in-person class at SUNY Purchase, or is it virtual?
Oh, at SUNY, I teach where I'm an adjunct professor. I teach like basic voiceover, like commercial and stuff. But I will be teaching a voice matching class through Voice Tracks West sometime in July. I don't have the exact date yet, but I taught my first one when I was teaching with Lori Allen, who is an incredible teacher, just unbelievable. And I like basically assisted her through a 4-week class, but then voice matching, since that's sort of my thing, I like took a little more of the lead on that. And I was like, wait, I can teach it. It's like you play their reference, usually with a voice match audition. They have a reference clip. Sometimes they don't, and you have to go find it on YouTube. And then you repeat, you try to match that clip, and then they want to see if you can stay in the voice with non-reference clips, with just wild lines where you're like, okay, because sometimes you can match a clip you hear, but you can't. It's consistency, and that's for all auditions. Like if you pick a voice or an accent, you need to stay consistent, because especially if this is a character that's a series regular or whatever, like, and you're going to be in 4-hour sessions, you need to be able to be consistent.
They want to be able to throw anything at you. That's so fascinating. And for anyone who doesn't know, Voice Tracks West is in the West.
It's in the West. Yes. It's in Studio City. Yes. And the most amazing people are there, and they're just like a voiceover production studio, and just like a studio where stuff gets recorded, but they also hold classes and make demos, and they've been there forever for good reason, because they do excellent work. Hi, Andrew and Evan. You're watching.
All the shout out. And also people noticed she got a demo. Marketing materials are so essential because people need to be able to hear your voice. And I always talk about when I moved from New York to Los Angeles, I was like, I've been working for years. I can just hobble together my own demo with clips of spots that have already run. No, nobody picked that one up at all. So that's when I found Mick, and then got more professional sounding voiceover.
Oh, he made your demo.
Where I was. Yeah, both of them, animation and commercial.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he coached me. He knew, what I could do and what he could get out of me. But it wasn't where I had been and the jobs that I had booked. It was an agent was going to want to see where I could go in the future. They didn't care about what I booked. They can't make money off of that. It's already aired,
Right.
Yeah.
But having an excellent demo is really important. It's like being an actor. You need a headshot.
Yep.
I think. With the way the industry is now, unless you're like a celebrity or something.
Absolutely. And keeping them updated every couple of years too.
Yes. To send out to people, and then your agent, my agent loads it on the website. So, prospective clients go to there and go, click Ashely Adler. Okay.
Or then you sound great.
Or yes. Or I don't know, I'm looking for something else. So
exactly. And if it's not you, it's okay. Okay, so how do you recommend that others find a voiceover agent these days? Because we both got started over 10 years ago, and the industry has changed, right?
It has. I have to say, because I've had that agent I told you that I got because of that fortuitous, serendipitous New Year's party with Carrie Town-Basian. I've had the same agent.
Yeah. That's
so I think not much has changed in that, like, I know that Atlas, my agency, they have like an email address for demo submissions. And, I recommend trying to get referred by a client at the agency, because at least then you hope the agent has a bigger likelihood of opening the email if it's from a client they already work with and trust. So, friends help. Also just have an excellent demo that's undeniable. Pat Fraley, another amazing. I know Pat Fraley was I've only taken a class or two with him, but it was an amazing experience. But he said something that I wrote down on a piece of paper, and I was like, don't just be good, be undeniably good. And I've heard so many people in the industry that I respect say that very same thing, like, be excellent. Do not rush through your training. Be excellent, because you only get one chance to make a first impression. And you want it to be good, because they might not listen the next time,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And sometimes they'll listen and be like 10 seconds in and be like, no. So this business is really competitive, and post-COVID, Caley, it got more competitive because a lot of on-camera people were like, well, I'm just sitting at home. And especially nowadays, I'm sure this is something you were going to ask me, but the reads have gotten more conversational. They don't want anyone to sound like actors. All the auditions I get are like not announcery or commercial sounding at all.
Hitting you over the head with it even more. Yes.
So they want someone who is just sounds like a real person and isn't acting or trying to sell. I always say, tell me, don't sell me. Ashely, but
that's good.
Sorry.
It's good.
Yeah, I made that one up.
I'm gonna write that one down from you. Tell me, don't sell me. Okay, yeah, that brings us to current trends, and we talk about the commercial read all the time. I mean, the conversational read, excuse me, which is not commercial, not announcery, all of those things. Are you putting a ton of improv into your auditions? Like, that's always a question for me when I'm like, how much is okay? How much is too much? Where I'm going to offend a writer and rewrite their script. Don't rewrite their script. That's the first rule of improv.
Okay, I have a few rules that I follow for this.
Yeah.
Being that a lot of the commercials I have booked, I noticed I improvised a little button. A button, for anyone who's listening and doesn't know what that is, it's like a little thing you put at the end of your read to like kind of like, and that's all I have to say about that. Or like, well, alrighty then. Or whatever it is, whatever matches the vibe of this spot. Especially if it's a radio commercial, which is radio commercials a lot of times are more focused on comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you be the judge of that. That's not a hard and fast rule. It's just that's generally, I find there's a little more freedom with radio commercials. Yeah. And if it's a funny spot, and sometimes they'll say a little improv, you want to improv a little to add a little of your flavor so they know what they're getting. Like, I give a little Ashely Adler, whatever that is, whatever your thing is, whatever the Caley spice is. But not too much, because you don't want them to think you're writing the script. Same for animation. And a lot of animation, I've been told by casting people, it's okay to do it a little bit, but not so much that you're like, I can write this better than you.
Exactly. And when they don't ask for it, I'm like, should I still put it in? Because sometimes they're specifically asking for improv. And that's why I say, how to get into voiceover? Well, a good key is take an improv class.
Especially like the lead-ins, like giving yourself a line to get into the script so you're not just starting cold, because generally you want to make it feel like it's your words. Like, how do you talk about things you're passionate about? That's something I always ask my students. I'm like, okay, what is something you actually recommend to your friends or family? Like your favorite body lotion or your favorite hummus? I don't know. What's something you go, oh dude, it's so good, you have to try it. And then I go, observe. How do you feel now that you're describing something you genuinely have a connection to? And they go, oh, yeah, that is different than how I was reading the script. Yes, we need to bring that. Do I need to repeat that, or am I talking too fast?
You said, no, have people... You have so much energy, and it's good. This is the Ashely Adler. Yeah. Do you talk that fast in your auditions? Because that would be a vocal footprint,
What's that?
I said, do you talk that quickly in your auditions? Because if so, that's you.
No, God, no.
It's you, though.
That would never work. It would never work if I was like, oh my God, this is my
But you were saying, how do you talk naturally about something that you like? I always talk about brownies. Whenever someone say, like, talk about something that you like. Cool, I'll talk about brownies.
Oh my God, what kind?
Any, my grandmother's. They're just the best.
Salted caramel?
My number one.
Walnut?
Yeah. See? And how do you describe that to your friends?
Yes. Oh my God. Are they chewy? Are they crunchy? Do they, how dark are they? How sweet are they? How thick are they? How thin are they? All that specific stuff. When you describe something you have a personal connection to, that is going to make your read sound real and connected. And you want to grab someone's ear by going, oh, I can relate to this person. I can empathize. Yeah. Okay. That does sound good.
They're not trying to sell it to me. They're just really excited about it. And that's a fine little line.
The genuine, hey, this works for me. And I think it would work for you too. But hey, no sweat if you don't want to try it. It's like that kind of attitude, I feel.
Exactly. I talk about like the throw it away. I've had so many, because when we used to go in person to casting directors, it was, are they doing that in New York?
I miss those days, Caley. I miss those days. As you can see,
it was so funny when I moved from New York to LA, it was still a little bit going in person in New York, and then LA, it was not at all. And then COVID, I mean, maybe it was 93% of things were from home in LA. And then COVID, 100% of things are from home in LA. But I'm wondering, is New York, is there 1% going in person to casting directors' offices, or 0?
Girl, I have not gone to a cast. I mean, I used to come to New York just to do auditions sometimes. And come 2 weeks, and usually always walk away with like one booking. And I would go in person all the time for those. Like I remember back in 2019 I did that. But now I live here now and I have not gone in person at all. It's all
so much, yeah.
But those relationships I built do help. I get requested stuff from a lot of NYC casting directors. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because they met me. I think going in person helped. And that's the same with in-person recording sessions. I've gone in person for a few sessions here, but most of them are like, do you have Source Connect?
Yep. And you have to say yes, and you have to have it. So Source Connect, for anyone who doesn't know, is a technology that allows the client to listen in real time to your recording and allows an engineer from their advertising studio, in-house there, wherever the engineer is, to record you from your at-home mic. It's an incredible technology. It used to be ISDN. That used to be the big thing, and it was much more
What about IPDTL?
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
What about that?
Like, I never had that, but I would. You'd rent studios. Yeah. Back in the day.
Okay, am I talking too fast?
No, you have a lot of energy and you are talking quickly, but I can still understand you.
A lot of energy. But you can't understand me. Yep. Because you know what? I have impeccable diction, Caley.
See? That's where that is.
Very important, everyone. I would like to remind you. Also is this a character that aspirates their T's? Important? Or they go important?
Yeah.
You have to think about that.
Two different people. It really conveys two different people.
Brands. Maybe I'll read important when I'm doing a fancy commercial for, like, you know, a Mercedes. This is an important car. But if it's not, it's an important car.
See, and she jumps into characters so quickly. Do you watch a ton of cartoons? Is that how you get so much exposure to different characters too?
It's not exactly cartoon. I do. I have the things I like, and I watch a lot of those.
Yeah.
I've just grown up watching so much comedy, and I watch so many old movies, and a lot of. I grew up watching all the old school Disney movies, and I know like every single song, and you know I grew up watching a lot of old television. Honestly, sometimes I think my sense of humor is like from 1951, but also like I watch a lot of comedies in general. I just watch a lot of comedy, but you know I did a lot of like serious acting, you know, training, you know, the Chekhov and the Tennessee Williams, Shakespeare, which has given me a very well-rounded.
It helps. And when you said opera, I mean, that's a different placement, I assume, than the klezmer band.
Oh yeah,
and I used to sing in a klezmer band. Yeah,
that was a little journey for me. I was like, I did summer stock. Summer stock for any young actors here is like a great way to. You know, I go to do the theater company, and for 10 weeks, we did like 9 different shows. So you're rehearsing one at night. That's for next week. And rehearsing one during the day and performing a different one at night. Around to go. And I discovered opera or operetta while I was there. And I was like, I'm good at this. And then I was like, I'm going to try doing this for a while. So I started taking opera lessons because I was like, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. I have just like the way I talk fast, my brain works fast. So I took opera lessons, and then I actually got cast in some operas in New York, like off Broadway and like regionally. And I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, you know what? I don't think this is my thing, but I'm glad I can do it. But I did it for a while. I want to be fun.
You gotta try things.
I want to do fun stuff. I want to have variety, and an opera, while it's amazing training and taught me to connect to my breath, which is important in voice acting. Sometimes you get those long sentences. But and it taught me my resonance and my power, which I now use when I sing rock and roll, which I much prefer to sing. But thank you for the opportunity. It all helps. Yeah.
It all gets you somewhere, right? And it's fun to try, and you wouldn't know you didn't like it if you didn't try it.
It's like making brownies, Caley.
Exactly. See, we're all going to come back to brownies.
I have the opera spice, and then I have the rock and roll spice, and then I have a little comedy spice, and I have a little Neil Simon Chekhov voiceover spice. Oh my God, what a delicious brownie. That was a terrible metaphor, but I think we don't know.
And then you know where to use it. You know, I was just thinking about like interpreting specs, because we've talked about the resonator. We talked about that. And we'll get these specs that are like, okay, conversational, but not this and not this and not this and a little bit more of this. And you'll get a page-long thing that just boggles your mind. So I liked what you said about energy, like kind of throwing out yes, you read the specs, you listen to the specs if it helps you. And then you go to the story of the spot. I know, you know, when they're selling dish soap, they typically sell it to women. And this is the climate that we live in. You know, this is the story.
It's just the truth.
Woman. Yes.
Not that men can't do dishes. because they can,
Absolutely.
and they're very good at them.
My husband does them, yeah.
You go, Carl.
He does.
One of my favorite teachers, McWingert,
Mhm.
he says everything you need to know is in the script.
Yep.
You don't need the specs. I mean,
Yeah.
because sometimes those specs get you so in your head. They're
So
like,
much.
she's nice, but not a pushover.
Yes,
She's cool, but still knows when to put her foot down. Like, and you're just like, who is this? Oh, she's a human. You just want a person who's a human.
A complex,
like
real
exactly what
human.
you were saying. Sometimes I get mad and I'm like, I'm just going to read the specs
Yes.
in the voice because the specs are longer than the copy.
Yep. Because, then it's 2 lines of text. But they're helpful. I like that you say that. And I like that you feel the energy of it because it's an energetic thing. And then you feel good about it. I read something recently that was like, go in like you already have the job and then you're going to already be more confident. So what gives you that confidence? Because that's another one of my favorite things to talk about. What gives you confidence? How did you become the confident person you are today?
Am I confident?
Are you not? Let's talk about it.
Wait, do I seem confident?
I think you are. Well, when you have this body of work and you have achieved these goals, like there's a certain confidence that says, at one point you said, I'm trying to think of what the scenario was, but you said you looked at it and you were like, I can do that. And I think that is what gets us to those goals. Why not me? That person's doing that. I find interest in that. I like that. Why not me? And that is a certain kind of confidence that believes that you can do something.
I think it's, I know this is my talent. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, even when I don't get all the jobs I wish I was getting. I just, you feel it in this is a soul calling, AKA I say to some people, you feel compelled to do this. Like,
you can't not.
I can't not do this. It's like
use a double negative. Yeah.
And a curse. And do you know June Foray, who's the original voice of, Rocky and Bullwinkle and Witch Hazel, and just such an iconic voice actor. And when I was just starting out, she's literally one of the, she was Talkie Tina in Twilight Zone and everything. I went to a talk back she was doing and got her to sign a book that she had written. And she just said, because this is the very beginning of my career, and I was like, am I crazy? Because it took me 6 months, for instance, to book my first job, which was an Arco commercial, and I booked it on my birthday, which I was like, okay, this is meant to be. I'm not crazy.
Birthday energy, that's a real thing.
But she said,
mine's coming up. I can't wait to see what I get.
Oh, when's your birthday?
June 30th.
Mine's
so I'm like, what's coming? Oh, really? Hey.
Yeah.
So we're both getting birthday presents from the universe soon, and I feel
that. We are. This is a gift to me right now.
Right?
I'm so happy to be here with you. But
I agree.
She said, if you know you have talent, just keep going. You have, she said, because there's no roadmap to this, and everyone's way of getting into the business is completely different. And I can tell you what worked for me and what my journey was, but that's not going to be your journey. But if you know in your soul, because this is an impossible thing to do, to try to make money acting and auditioning with sometimes 1,000, 1,500 other people for one job. You need to feel seriously called, on a soul level, or just a need to do this that is just it's bigger than me, and I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah.
But I really feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And even though there are times when I'm like, damn, I haven't gotten a job in a little bit, but my confidence comes from, I don't know. It just comes from I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and
knowing,
and you have to know why you're doing this. And I love it. And it brings me so much joy, and it brings joy to others. And I enjoy, it's changed my life. And also so many of the things I've done are special to me, where I go, that is crazy. Even Disney Dreamlight Valley. This is such a dumb little thing, but I'm from the Valley in LA, and I was like, of course, the thing, because I was my whole life growing up, I was a Valley girl. I'm from Encino.
Hey.
And I was like, of course, this major Disney thing I got was a Valley thing. It's just these little things peppered out through your life where you can't ignore. And there's been so much weirder things. I don't know what. That's just the one that came to my mind.
I love that. Yeah.
But there's just things where I see my art imitating my life, and my life imitating my art. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy, And I wish I had more specific examples.
I'm like,
But
if you more, I'm very interested in that because I love that. And like I said about the birthday thing, like I always get, exciting jobs around my birthday. And I'm like, that's a gift from my grandfather, and if you believe in these things, which I do, like
yes,
sometimes because we do so much work on these auditions and we just then have to throw
and
it
feel
away.
like you're going into a void sometimes. You're
We
like, is
don't
anybody
know.
listening? Is
Yeah,
anybody
you make
here?
choices. Yeah, and you have no idea. And sometimes I was just talking to Dina Sherman about this. Like, you might not know what booked the job because once you get on the line with the client, you're not going to be like, "So what was it? Can you tell me what it was? Because I'm desperate to know." Because you cannot exude that desperation. You have to be a professional who is confident
Yes.
and just like, "Of course I'm here,"
You're like, I belong here. I belong here. I
Mhm.
think people who are crazy successful, like crazy, that nobody would ever dispute, they're like crazy. I think a lot of them still have imposter syndrome. I think
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just,
absolutely.
I think it's a
We
part
just
of
do it
life.
anyway. We all
You
have
do.
fear. We just move forward anyway.
Yes, actually, the thing I have, I'm going to be on next season of Solar Opposites, and that is
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
really special to me. But the role I'm doing, again, it's like one of those things where I'm like, sorry about the siren.
No, it's life.
That's what I'm talking about. It's really cool. It's the role I auditioned for related directly back to something in my childhood that was like really specific to my story, even like of something I did in high school that was like really important to me. And I was just like, I can't believe that it was this thing. And I just can't say what it is.
That's amazing.
I have to keep it on the video.
Yeah.
But it's just like crazy when these things happen and you go, this is meant to be. Like, I'm on my path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, there are no accidents. And even when bad shit happens, you gotta take all those lemons and turn it into lemonade.
And you did. Okay, because of the siren, my last question for you is going to be, what is your voiceover setup like, especially living in New York? Because I was just there, gosh, was it a week and a half ago? And I was in a friend's apartment and I was just like, do you have a quiet space that I can record this Purina
Wait, you were here and you
dog?
didn't visit me?
I was there very quickly for my
fine.
child.
Not offensive.
Like literally going to the Statue of Liberty and Wicked for my child. But you have to find a quiet space in a city that is not quiet. And sometimes, like this Purina job, I had a client on the line. And I'm like, if they hear a siren, it is going to look so unprofessional, but I can't control the outside world. I can only control my space. So what is your space like in New York City?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. My space in my bedroom is I have one of those little like box things.
Okay.
Auditions, but if I ever get jobs,
Mm-hmm.
when I get jobs, God, that sounded so bad.
Nope.
If I ever get a job.
You caught yourself though. That's manifesting language. Good for you.
No, I know I'm careful about what I say.
Yeah.
Or I try to be. And I've had to overcome that a lot because I used to have the worst negative self-talk, like just horrible, like, and that's something I've had to personally overcome, and it changed. Like,
good for you.
But anyway, I go to like Edge Studio here in New York, and I'll like record in there because that booth is like dead. It's like perfect professional booth, and I can just bring my setup there or record there, like for when it's a job, But for auditions, the setup I have is suffices. It's like one of the things.
Yes. It's like a little travel box, and it's all
but it does the job. And as long as I record at night, I mean, sometimes it can't be helped. And oh my God,
and then if a siren goes by, you do another take.
Right. There were no sirens in LA, and I will tell you, I have booked some pretty big stuff off iPhone auditions when they were just like ASAP, and I was like, I'm literally at Trader Joe's right now, but okay, I'm gonna go in my car and I'm gonna record this on my iPhone, and then I would book it, and it ended up being like one of the jobs I did for Marvel, which has been so freaking amazing for me. I recorded that initial audition on my iPhone.
That's shocking.
But I was right for the part. I was capturing the essence of what they wanted.
Do we know what character it was?
That I cannot say.
Okay.
Confidential information.
Fair. I get it.
But it was that's happened a couple times where I'm like, that was one of those ASAP iPhone. Just get it in. So I'm saying sometimes I don't skip over.
And you don't have a mic that plugs into the iPhone. It's just the iPhone mic.
At the time, it was just the iPhone.
Holy mama.
So
okay, last question.
If something's meant to be, it's meant to be, and you can't stop it. What's for you can't go past you.
See? Okay. And the way you talk in that way is so healthy too. So I do have one more question because I love also talking about confidence, and confidence is key to voiceover. How did you work through that negative self-talk? Because I think that's so important and helpful for people to know.
It just
lots of work,
lots of time, and lots of I listen to a lot of podcasts about this stuff because my self-talk I have been crippled by my own like self-doubt. Like,
I've been there.
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I really sometimes feel like I have the devil and angel thing.
Yeah. That's why that's such a stereotype, the devil and the angel, right?
I just kind of had to get to it's really helpful for me to zoom out on the big picture and go, okay, let's look at the things you have done, Ashely. You're not gonna, I like hyperfixate sometimes on things in my life, and I'll be really hard on myself, I think, in this effort to, I don't know where it comes from. Childhood trauma, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess eventually just time, growing older, and then also, like you said, looking at my resume and going, okay, you've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know?
It comes from, I think, being an ambitious person too, I want the world,
Yes,
so also look back on what we've had, be grateful for what we've had. Now we can move forward and still aspire.
And then realizing how lucky I am to do what I've done, because the bad part of me compares myself to, like, Ray Delisle or someone, and I'm like, I'm garbage compared to her, like my resume, right? But then I'm like, oh my gosh, Ashely, look at what you've done, and like how many people would kill to do what you've done, and I get to use my talents and get paid for my talents. It is so amazing. And
now educating others.
Yes, and that's such a huge part of it. Like, you belong here. If you're here in this business and you feel a call to it, you belong here, and you have to believe in
this
yourself.
World. Yeah,
there are no guarantees. I cannot guarantee you're going to make enough money to buy a house or even make your rent every month from it. But if you can make a little money doing it and just things build, that's just the law of the universe and life. And stay and always work on yourself. Like, Caley and I met in a workout group, and I love workout groups. You meet other actors. You learn so much by watching. Like, even just auditing a class and learning. Totally. I love going to different classes and getting different teachers' perspectives, because everyone directs differently. Totally. And I've learned so much even from not working, just from listening. Hey guys, listen.
Now you can learn from Ashely. All right. Where can people find you online to book you, to learn from you, to listen to you sing, all the things? It rhymes.
You can go to my Instagram, which is, I don't know why I said it like that. It's Ashely E. Adler. You can find me, well, if you go to SUNY Purchase, I can teach you there. But if you don't go to SUNY Purchase, you can either take privates with me, or I teach classes at Edge Studio. I teach like workout groups, which are like my favorite thing. I also teach with Lori Allen sometimes, and I'm about to, like, we do like a 4-week class or like random one-off. And then also I'm going to be teaching a voice matching class, because we've realized this is my specialty. The proverbial we. That's going to be happening in July. I don't have the exact date yet, but it's a class that not a lot of people teach, and my method might be different than the other people who teach it. So I think, this is still happening. Voice matching, again, it's, when the actor is not available and they want to change some lines in a movie, or they're like, you know what, the XYZ is not available. Do you want to do the voice on the ride? Inside Disneyland? Oh, okay, cool. Or the video game, or the commercials, or whatever. It's, and I think we become better sorry, I'm going off, better actors in voice matching too, because learning to tune into others' energy, that's like how we create characters as well. Is sometimes smart. I've heard like Tom Kenny talk about like how like some of his voices are like half-baked impressions of like other things, but like filtered through him, they turn into like a whole new voice. And so, like, I think trying to impersonate people can help you find new characters and new resonance and new parts of your voice that you didn't know you had, but because you would never tune into them, because that's not where you naturally talk. But if you to imitate others, all of a sudden, oh shit, that sounds really cool. That's a new character. It's not exactly that thing I was imitating, but it's kind of like this. Oh.
And then you create new things, learning constantly. I love it. All right. Well, if anybody wants to learn how to get into voiceover, you can check out my How to Get Into Voiceover class, digital course. And I'll put a little link in the live chat. And Ashely, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you. You are the best. It's so good to connect with you.
Thank you. So good to connect with you. We'll talk more.
And everyone, good luck on your journeys. Keep the faith.
Bye. So drop the who's that girl?
Hey, this is Caley Rose again, and if you want to learn even more about how to get into voiceover, I have a course out called How to Get Into Voiceover: My Secrets to Six-Figure Voiceover Success. You can learn more about how to get into voiceover, what you need, how to find that ever so elusive voiceover agent, how to book auditions, how to find jobs, and more. You can also learn more about our special guest down in the show description below. Check it out.
Hey, I'm Caley Rose, and thank you so much for watching my video. If you like what you saw, subscribe.